I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm just worn and I'm tired.
Kaiju, turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors, it's Steven here, and welcome to another SH Monster Arts video. Intro there, Mark Tremonti, yes, the guitarist from Creed, but he does also have his solo project, and he is a member of Alter Bridge. I do suggest you check him out if you're a fan of metal, or hard rock, or any of the above. I digress. Here, we got a new SH Monster Arts announcement, and at the time of recording, they're going to go up for pre-order tonight. Yes, pre-order tonight. Remember, the United States is not the center of the world here, folks. They're going to go up for pre-order on July 1st. So what do we have? We have the movie graphic plus not subline, all right? So even though they're going to go up for pre-order at the usual Japanese retailers tonight, we do have them more than likely getting ready for pre-orders opening soon through Bandai Collect any day now. Hopefully, let's hope. So, the whole purpose of this line as it's being advertised by Tamashii Nations is first and foremost to have a representative from each of the generations of Godzilla. That's been used before to hint at the different eras, the Showa, the Heisei, Millennium, Reiwa, and Monsterverse. And then also, we're gonna fight about this to introduce new collectors or help those who are new to the SH Monster Arts line. No, I'm going to argue that. Now, I want to take a quick aside here because for some reason this needs to be said. A disagreement, either liking something you don't like or not liking something you like, is not a signal to haul someone off to the gulags, okay? It's not. It's not. This isn't console wars where people are out in the field. This isn't a battle cry. It's not. Okay? Thank you. I cannot believe that has to be said. So, with this movie Graphic Plus Cinema Club at Tamashii Nations where they're overcharging for tickets of entry, what do we have so far? Well, the lineup that's confirmed to be announced. First and foremost, we have Godzilla 1989 and Purple Drank Shin. 1989 is going to be 13,200 yen, including tax, 12,000 yen without, and Purple Drank Shin is 17,600 yen and 16,000 without yen. We know that Bandai Collect, for years now, has not done current exchange rate for the prices of items. So for BioGoji, we're looking at between $120 to $130. Remember the SDCC one was about $95. The Purple Drank Shin is going to be about $160 to $175. So, what does this line entail? So not only do we have those 2 points that they mentioned, but you also get a little card holder, card stand, and you get a cardboard at best cutout of a movie poster associated with the related movie. Now, BioGoji is going to release in January, and Shin is going to release in February. I'm gonna make mention of some of the other things that were teased about here in a second. Now, I want to say right off the rip, what we overall have announced so far, I think the Shin is actually pretty cool. I love the translucent purple that they have. We're going to have images up on the screen. I think he looks real nice. I like that purple. I actually like that purple more than the official Awakening Shin that they did a while ago, where like that was the full-blown release, which came with accessories, because this one doesn't, nor does BioGoji. So let's let that be the segue into these different releases. So do I think that these are good and needed releases? How they're doing them? No. I think that these are very, very bad ways to get these on the market. I do admire the attempt at helping new collectors to a point, but fundamentally, I really think that Tamashii Nations is missing the mark, and they're not doing what they really need to do to help out not only new collectors, but really helping folks to understand the line and really moving this line forward the way that it needs to be done. If you know what I'm saying already, you know what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and talk about the 2 that have been announced so far. And it'll be a good segue to the two that have been hinted at. We're going to go quick because we've got 4 figures to cover in total. BioGoji. So, BioGoji here is in the product description, meant to recreate the battles that happened at night. So, to my understanding, this is meant to recreate when he fights Biollante at night, which he always did that. So, what was the first release based off of? What were the colors there? Other battles and other times the land suit was there at night? Pretty confusing. Now, go back to SDCC. The big cope, the big thing that was advertised there was they could not do the atomic breath part because he charges and lights up right before he releases his breath. I talked about this in my review. This is the 3rd BioGoji release, and now we have another BioGoji release where the plates are off and there's no beam. So, yes, this is a way to get BioGoji back on the market for some folks. Okay, not a problem. Very popular suit. I understand that. However, this is a price increase even from the original release, okay? Going back to the original release with a piece of cardboard when they could have done a beam effect. Even if they were to do a blue one that was maybe a more so pearl blue instead of like that, like faded blue with the way back at the first release of the line, because they're doing that with the new Burning Godzilla that comes out in July this month, probably at the time of upload. So they could have done that, but they didn't. They could have even scaled it down, which they did do for the SDCC Goku and Gohan Cell Games set. The Kamehameha, they pretty much scaled the Super Saiyan 4 Kamehameha times 10 down, but I digress. They could have done a beam. That would have just been cool to have, especially if they're saying like a night battle version of BioGoji. So I'm very confused how they're helping new collectors to enter into the line when they could have added an effect part here, which, okay, you could use that for all of your Godzillas or just that one, but instead we get a little cardboard cutout at best. It could have been acrylic. That's very easily damaged. Not really the best, and it's going to set you back $130. Oh, okay, you missed BioGoji. You can get the SDCC one still on the market, admittedly secondhand, but still new, for about the same price. So if you're really itching to get BioGoji and SH MonsterArts in your collection, get the SDCC one. Real primo. Shin.
Whoa, shit!
This is going to be covered more when we talk about the releases that have yet to be formally announced. So with Shin, this is the umpteenth time that they've used the mold. We have the original. We're not going to count the reissue. We do have the Awakening. We're not going to go ahead and count the reissues. We have the Godzilla store. We have the Frozen. We have the orthopedic version. We have the One Night Combat. And then now we have this. So that is 7 releases over the course of a decade, and I'm pretty sure that they've snuck in others. 7 releases for the inaccurate sculpt, the inaccurate mold, and each one, to some extent, has had issues with quality control. Okay. Teeth on this one actually do not look all that great in the prototype pictures. So you can say nitpicking, you can say whatever you want for right now. We have to wait till it comes out. But precedent is really strong with this company. So that is definitely something that I am worried about. And what I'm going to say is we're going to come back to this idea when we talk about Godzilla 2014. It's time to start updating things if we're going to go this route. It's not as applicable to BioGoji because it's relatively new, but yeah, it's about time that we start updating. So those are the 2 that we have. Bada bing, bada boom. Bandai teased 2 more. And I think this is where we really come down to the crux of everything, where this video is going to take off. Sorry, it's been a bit of a lull, but c'est la vie. We have Godzilla 1954 teased, which had 3 reissues at minimum. It comes with a poster on the heels of an anniversary figure that got released that is designed, painted, and includes accessories based off of the poster, and it did not include the poster. Based on pricing, how much is this movie club version going to be? About $100, $130. You can get that one for about that much, and that one blows the pants off of the original release. So if you don't have a 1954, that's the one to get. But you don't have a black and white one, that's okay. If you have one or the other, that's going to be the one to pick up. Of course, I understand you want the 1954. However, it is a bit old right now, and that one really gets by with the nice paint coloration. It does have some good joint tolerance, and the accessories are mwah, chef's kiss. Godzilla 2014. Yes, that one. The abhorrent figure. Godzilla 2014. What can I say? They are informally announcing that they are going to do Godzilla 2014 again. They're going to reintroduce this figure into the line. The very first Monsterverse figure that they did, which from the jump, they admitted they didn't do well. Sort of. Yuji Sakai did sculpt this figure. Okay, that's great, that's fine. But what was pushed is that he, at least what was claimed, did not have access to the source material because he had this, he had that, but he didn't have the files available or something. Despite the fact that NECA did, and that is what they used to make their figure, which everyone and their mother was super duper hyped about, and this one came out before the SH MonsterArts, and it is accurate. Folks love the accuracy. Note that there's something else that's omitted among these Godzillas. So if NECA was able to do that in that time frame, here's where we come into it. It's so frustrating that the implication here is they're going to reissue the 2014 Godzilla at that high of a price. It's gonna be north of $100. Of course, we don't know that for sure, but come on, if it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, walks like a duck, lays eggs like a duck, chances are it's not a goose, all right? They're gonna reissue the 2014 Godzilla for north of $100, and they're not gonna touch anything on it except for maybe paint applications and quality control, when it is totally within their power to go back to the drawing board, do a full-on renewal from the ground up, and present it to collectors as, I don't know, let's go ahead and say Godzilla 2014, the King Awakens version, like they've done for Godzilla, or Goku, Saiyan raised on Earth, Saiyan with latent power, Saiyan who has a Mondo Dong. Who knows what names they could come up with? They're creative. They have the technology and the resources available where they can go back to the drawing board and make it entirely new Godzilla 2014. And they could do it very, 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 very well. That is so within their power. And if they did that, they could easily get away with a new sculpt and a release where they could easily charge the $130 if they wanted to, which they're probably going to do for this and get away with it. And they can do a heat ray version and get away with that as well. And you know what? I would buy that so easy. I understand where some folks were saying that, hey, I want to get that original release for some reason, and this is a good chance to get that as a reissue into my collection. Trust me, my original 2014 is nothing but a floppy taco, okay? Now, I have nightmares about that. You could have the chance to get that. Okay, fine. I understand having a new opportunity to get a figure you may have missed out on. 100%, and I even love that myself. Or a figure, you know what? I don't want, oh, now it's 3 times aftermarket. Oh, hey, a reissue, that's good. Let me present this to you, however. You have the opportunity to get something which is notoriously bad in the fandom, right? You have another chance to get that, and so does everyone else. Or you have a new attempt at getting this, which is completely new from the ground up, and if you want that old version of the figure, it is now going to be on the used market because everyone's going to try to dump it to get the new one. Now, renewals is something that this line, the SH MonsterArts line, basically doesn't do. What you're seeing here in front of you technically isn't a renewal, but it's the closest thing to a renewal the SH MonsterArts line has ever had. And it's just a repaint of the 1995 mold in normal Godzilla colors. This one, yes, it's known as birth version, rebirth version, whatever, but officially, categorically, it's just Godzilla or Godzilla Versus, depending on when you check the Tamashii website. And the original Godzilla release, it was just Godzilla. No 1994, no original, nope, that was just Godzilla, and this is technically categorized as just Godzilla. So effectively, this is kind of replacing the original Godzilla release. So de facto, this is a renewal of the original Godzilla in the SH MonsterArts line. And this is better than the original release in pretty much every way. Updated articulation, updated and better paint application, the eyes look great, and this came out effectively 2 or 3 years after the original figure came out. Renewals are great opportunities for the collecting fandom as a whole to move production forward for not only the company, so this way they're able to explore with new parts and new techniques and new technology and engineering, but also for fans, both who are new to the line and also for old heads like me and maybe even you, so this way there's a new life that gets breathed in. So let me give you some examples here. You could get the old Eva Unit 1 robot spirits, okay? That's fine if you want to do that. But the new one has better articulation, engineering, some accessories, albeit a few that may be omitted, like maybe 1 fewer guns or daggers, whatever. But this one is a lot better than the original release. Then when we take a look at One Piece, nobody is clamoring for the original Luffy that got released so many years ago, because that one is not very good. This one blows that out of the water, and quite frankly, I don't know why anyone would want to go after that one, except for completionist reasons, which that is entirely different than just wanting a really good, better, updated representation of a character. And then you have the possibility of moving everything forward in action figure and engineering and just making things better. Like, this is a new and improved Super Saiyan Teen Gohan. There's so much that's going on here compared to the original release that came out, what was that, in 2010? It looks so much better. The paint applications are so much better. We have so many new techniques and articulation points that are in here that honestly, I don't even know where my original release is at. And quite frankly, I don't care. This thing looks fantastic. It has such great playability to it. You can just move everything around. There's so many hidden little tricks that are in here that even some reviewers completely missed. Like, there is no reason for anyone to go back to the original release and say, I want that reissued right now in today's field, in today's market, because this is pretty much a new standard, and that was even outdated the minute it hit the market, pretty much, depending on how you look at things. But this is so fluid, and to think that maybe we want something that's a decade old to come back on the market and maybe bump that into what is considered a new standard or the same standard. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Because if we were to, let's say, bring that old Gohan back, we would have painted eyes. Hand painted with a brush and a real fine tip to get the iris and the pupils in place, instead of some really cool decal printing that's going on here that makes everything nice and pinpoint. We wouldn't have these soft materials that are rubber, not like cloth goods. We wouldn't have more so seamless engineering, which folks don't like gaps. Updating figures is always good. It's good to do. And I do understand when folks say that they missed out on a product and they want another chance to get it. Let's look at, say, the D-Arts Omegamon. That was stuck in reissue hell for so long, and I wanted to get one, and, well, it came out with several quality control issues. It wasn't much better than the original release. And boy, let me tell you, I wish I would have had that. Oh, I wish I would have had that as a renewal. Because, oh boy, it was dated the minute it hit my hands several years later. It's fine if you want something, because at the end of the day, it's your money. Who cares what anybody says, especially this one, right? Who cares? It's your money. You enjoy your hobby the way that you want to enjoy it. The point of this video is we're circling around again in stagnation here with sculpts and engineering and everything, and we're not moving forward. We're keeping Godzilla the way that he was engineered years ago, And we're barely making progress forward. If you take a look at Dragon Ball, if you take a look at Evangelion, if you take a look at Ultraman, you take a look across the board, we're seeing leaps and bounds happen nearly every single year. While maybe a Godzilla character gets 92 degrees compared to where we were 3 years ago at 91. And that's just kind of disappointing, don't you think? Yeah. My thoughts, my talks on the subject. Drop your comments down below. Let me hear what you have to say. And I am looking forward to that really cool purple Drank Shin. I think he looks cool, and I will be picking that up for sure. The rest, more than likely not. So thank you for watching. I really want to know what you have to say. Again, just because somebody doesn't like something that you like, it's not a cry for a beheading, okay? It isn't. And just because someone likes what you don't like, come on, stop. Let's grow up. We should be adults watching this. Let's have fun. It's your money. Spend it how you want. Hopefully. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Catch you in the next video.